Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back with some more Magic the Gathering. I ended up designing a couple of new deck ideas for the Explorer format and want to give them a try. Today I have one really interesting deck idea in the form of a Dance of the Man style deck, and then one that's just more of an aggro deck. And then lastly, we have a deck that I made for Standard, which if we have enough time, I might go to it, but we might see this for another stream. Now, before I jump into the games of showing you what we're going to be playing, I did actually want to go over. Where's the. Sorry, one sec. Just realized one of my monitors here is not displaying something properly. One of my monitors. There we go. The other thing I want to try to go over was some of the new spoilers, as we managed to get ourselves the last of a new set of type of cards for their theme revealed to us, and I just want to get everyone's opinion on that. Well, I guess we can actually go into the deck design first and wait for a couple of our other usuals to hop in before we do that. In which case, I figure we'll start off the night with a small deck called We Can Dance. So, We Can Dance is a Dance of the Man style deck where we are going to try to return up to X artifacts and or non-or enchantment cards from our graveyard with mana value X or less. And if we happen to make X 6 or more, they'll come back as 4/4 creatures in addition to their other types. So to help us out here, we are actually doing a lot of deck thinning with lands through Birth of Meletis and the Restoration of Ganjo. This will help us be able to get our planes from our decks and just kind of deck thin us, but also help make sure we hit the land numbers that we want for Dance and Mance. To also help with that, we're using some Solemn Simulacrums that'll help us get our black and our blue sources. Running some Celestis because it mana fixes. The looting ability is going to be very useful from the night-day cycling. And the small amount of life gain may actually be helpful as well. We run a couple golden eggs in the deck because our goal is to try to dig as fast as we can to Dance of the Mance after we get our mana set up. And the great thing about this is that we can sacrifice them to get ourselves some life, but we can also use them as fodder for Doom Foretold. So Doom Foretold is an enchantment that at the beginning of our upkeep, that player will sacrifice a non-land permanent, non-land non-token permanent. If that player can't, they must discard a card, lose 2 life. We get to draw a card and gain 2 life. We also get to create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. Then we must sacrifice Doom Foretold. So this means that if we get it to our opponent's turn, they don't have anything on the board, we'll have to sacrifice Doom Foretold. We'll make the opponent discard. We'll get the draw. We'll get all this value. Now, if Doom Foretold's the only thing left on our side of the board, we'll have to sacrifice it ourselves, and we won't be able to get any of the value off the trigger, really. But it's still a great way for us to control a board state, especially considering we're going to be running a lot of depopulates to keep them off the board with creatures. And Doom Foretold will help us fight against Planeswalker-style decks. The other cards we're running in the deck is we're running a couple Cure Bests the Sea God as a big finisher, because if we resolve this, we'll be able to get that huge Kraken token that has hexproof. If they manage to deal with the Kraken token, we'll be able to potentially steal something from our opponent's side of the board that may actually push everything in our favor. And in the event that, alright, we resolved a Cure Best of Sea Gods, the opponent manages to kill our Kraken, and we don't really get to steal anything important, we can still always reanimate this from our graveyard with Dance of the Mance as well. So we get another shot at doing everything again. We are also running Mirror Shield Crabs in the deck because this is something that we can discard early as a way to help us counterspell spells or ability our opponent controls unless they pay an extra 3. And it being reanimated will turn it into a 4/4 because of how this works. But it'd still be a Ward 3/4/4 creature. Now, we can always still also potentially play it late game as a giant 5/7 body, so it's still got practical uses both ways. To help against our opponents, we are also using some Soul Guide Lanterns, 3 of them in the main board, because in the Explorer League, reanimation is a very popular thing, and this allows us to exile our opponent's graveyard and put a artifact in our graveyard that's going to be good for recurring with Dance of Mance. In the event that we're not against Reanimator, we still get extra purpose out of this card because we can turn it into card draw, but also we could end up using it as sacrifice fodder for Doom Foretold. So everything's got double use in this deck, and I'm very interested to see how well this is going to work. I'm not 100% sure how effective it's going to be because it is a very slow-moving deck. So it's going to be very hit or miss. We'll jump into games and see how well it can do. Let's see. Exploring. We can dance. Oh, I am going to play this in the best of 3. I forgot to go over the side deck. We'll go over it as we play the matches. Side deck is got cards to help us have some faster board answers for creatures, as well as some extra answers for planeswalkers. I know we're only using 2 Dance of the Mance in the deck, which does make it harder for us to draw and play, but it's one of those cards that if we draw them early in the game, it's not very useful, so we don't want to run too many of them. Alright. Well, off the open, got a sweeper, we have Mirror Shell Crab. Not ideal, but we'll try keeping it. We have no clue how well this deck's going to really run, so going to be interested to see how it can work. Going against Cat Oven means we're going to rely on the side deck here. Alright, Temple Deceit, that's actually useful because we get a little scry action. We don't need the black source, so we'll put that on the bottom. At this point, I want to draw more action cards, just to respond to whatever our opponent may be doing. Alright, let's go for the Castle Ardenvale. We'll let the opponent resolve whatever they're going to resolve. We'll go for the Birth of Meletis. Gives us a land. Next turn, we'll get that wall. The goal is either choose play Birth of Meletis or hold up Mirror Shell Crab. And since we're more than fine with the opponent just putting creatures to board so that we can just depopulate here. The only thing I'm a little worried about is letting them just stockpile treasures with the creature there. Alright. I'm going to actually use Portable Hold, get rid of the oven right now. This allows us to hold up the crab, and next turn we get to depopulate so that we can get rid of the Kiki Jiki as well. No, I've never actually tried to do this, but sacrifice after 3. So actually, if you stop the 3rd trigger from transforming, you actually force them to sacrifice. That's interesting to know. Offer a block. The opponent can easily sacrifice a treasure to finish off the wall, but since we're playing on depopulating anyways, no problem for us. We'll let that resolve. Okay. I'm going to counterspell Deadly Dispute. Going to just deny them that card draw. Alright, denying them the card draw meant that we actually denied them this Mayhem Devil. It's going to stay in exile. Alright, we're going to take 3 damage from the Devil here. And when it comes to our end phase, we'll gain 2 life, but take another point. So we'll go to 14. Get him with the sweep. They may have a village right here to ping us for another 2. Yep. I'm really glad we got to take away the Witch's Oven from our opponent. Because they would have been able to sacrifice more, and then we'd still have to be dealing with potential cat combo coming against us. I'm surprised if they didn't play a land there, because that meant that they drew that much and still missed lands. Alright, next turn we get to go Best of Sea Gods. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even if they blow up the Celestis, we can go land Sea God. Alright, Harvester for our opponent, and they buy the Jingatha. Alright, Best of Sea God, and we'll play Soul Guide, get rid of the cat. Cat is gone, so we don't have to worry about them developing another Witch's Oven and being able to start cat comboing. Alright, opponent's going to come in with Den of the Bugbear. Block the Den. Opponent's got us down really low, so I'm a bit worried about our situation overall. If we can get one more land and survive Sea God, take action, discard. Let's see, that taps everything. I think it's best for us to stay on the block still. If they try to activate Hive Tyrant and come in with it, we have the ability to create a token with Ardenvale here and assign blocks. Alright, they do try to come in with it. Alright, they do take our restoration from us. And they're going to Fatal Push, that way we can't block. I guess we'll draw some cards. Alright, there's a Depopulate. And a Doom Foretold. Alright. So, let's see. Gain control of their Hive the Eye Tyrant. Send the 8 in. Hit him with the depopulate. Get out the Doom Foretold, so that way we can get some life back. Discard Veto. Right? No, discard Sea God. Because we actually reanimate both of those. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, we actually have the ability to do X7 here. Alright, opponent's going to claim. Gets in 2. And a Mayhem Devil. That's not good. Yep. Opponent gets in just enough to be lethal. Now, if we decided to not play Doom Foretold, we still would have died because Mayhem Devil was just going to be enough to come down and kill us anyways. So, let's see. Against this opponent, portable holes are pretty good here. Bring in some eliminates. Go down 1 crab. Doom Foretold's not super amazing against them because it gives them free sacrifices. So we'll trim 1. Actually, you know, let's take Veto out. And go for a Graph Digger's Cage. Because Graph Digger's Cage prevents creatures from coming back, so we won't be able to reanimate Simulacrum or Mirror Crab, but we can reanimate everything else. So, hey there, Valixen. How are things going? Hope everything's treating you well. All right. On the open, I think we have a pretty decent keep here. We'll keep it. We're going to go ahead and shock ourselves just to bring the Soul Guide out to the board immediately. I know sometimes you want to just save this in your hand, but our opponent could be running Disruption in form of Thoughtseize, yep. Now, if we get to resolve Birth of Meletis, we'll have the mana to be able to play both of these. So they could go for Birth of Meletis just to maybe disrupt our play on the other cards. And it does work. Alright, another Thoughtseize for the opponent. We might just sacrifice this to draw a card. The double Thoughtseize is always annoying. Alright, we do hit a land. That's important. Alright, we get the Celestis down. Starts the day-night cycle. Gonna hold the portable hole. Now, the opponent doesn't know about the eliminate, but they do know about the depopulate. Alright. Opponent's just being very annoying. We need to be able to get some mana for this dance. And I'll be honest, I may just do a dance X2 is a way to get back the Birth of Meletis and maybe even the Soul Guide or the Portable Hole. Alright, we are unfortunately 1 mana short for doing a lot of things here. With the draw of Simulacrum, it does mean that we are kind of hoping to be able to go land Simulacrum And then we'll have Dance X3 available at the very least. This is just really bad luck. We only have 2 Dance of the Manses in the deck. And we've drawn both of them before we can draw land number 4. This is a 25 land deck. So we are definitely against the land draw ratio here. Have the Eye Tyrant for our opponent. And another Witness. I would figure the one land we find is a tap land. I'm saving the Eliminate for the Eye Tyrant if it activates to attack us. The opponent knows we have Depopulate available next turn. Alright. Goodbye. Eye Tyrant, they're going to sacrifice it to draw. More than likely. Because their deck runs a bunch of these Deadly Disputes and such, but they didn't sacrifice it. A little surprising. We fire off the Depopulate right now because we're too low life not to do that. Alright, so the opponent gets a Thoughtseize and they get a Culligan's Command. They can actually play both of those to disrupt our hand. Well, if given the option, we discard Golden Egg. And they'll probably make us discard the Dance of the Manse. Maybe they make us discard the Simulacrum. Alright, Simulacrum was the choice. It makes sense why they made us discard that. We might just play Golden Egg and eat it just for the 3 life here. Alright, with that play, they abandon the Culligans. Alright, land please, we need land. Of course it's a tap land. And we have to eat this to not die to Den of the Bugbear, attacking us. So, let's see, if we dance for 3, I'm trying to think, like, what can we do here? We can get Restoration, Birth of Meletis, and Portable Hole. Or we can even get the Celestis here. But the opponent has Sokazin, so... Oh, wait. They punted. So we have another turn. I was just really hoping to get a 4th land, so that way we could actually have gotten up to Solemn Simulacrum as a chump blocker here. But yeah, no, we can't do anything. We got Mana Host pretty hard. And the thing is, we are running a lot of copies of both of these. And we couldn't draw like another one of these to maybe just hunt a land out of our deck. So we really got hosed because double... We lost because of double Thoughtseize. That's really all this was. Because double Thoughtseize kept us from actually getting land number 3 on turn 2 and land number 5 effectively much earlier. So it's just, yep. And I felt like we had a decent matchup there. I just realized I might want to bring Karn into the deck. The one that makes it that way our opponents can't use artifacts. Because that shuts them off from using treasures. They can't use the oven. And then we can also still put artifacts in the side deck that we can hunt out that synergize with the deck. So that might be something we'll make adjustment with. Alright, on the play, this seems pretty good. We'll keep it. We'll just lead with this tapped. Pass it back. Alright, green for our opponent with an elf. We go for our birth. Because Meletis is such a great thing to start with. Alright, so Gruul Aggro, this depopulate will help us set them back a bit. I'm a little surprised that they have a Karn's Bastion here. Alright, not the biggest Burning Tree Emissary I've seen, but it does get them some value. We'll just have this sit on the board, pass it back. Alright, Jadeite Ranger for our opponent. So now the Karn's Bastion makes a lot more sense. Okay, they pass it back. We gain 2 life here. Since they don't attack in, I'm not going to depopulate quite yet. We'll just land pass. This costs 4 mana to activate. Block here. Opponent may not apply anything new to the board. Nope, they fall for the trap. So we're going to hit them with the depopulate. So they get a card draw because they had a multicolored creature there, but it's the best we can, you know, do. All right, Yorvo for the opponent. Let's sacrifice, pass it back. I should have done that first, because I don't think we're going to need to exile their graveyard. No, I do not want you having that. I'm going to definitely discard the crab to deny that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can go land, get the Sea God here. And opponent's in, you know, quite a bit of trouble now. Alright. They resolve another henge, but off the 3rd trigger, if this stays here, we can steal the henge from them. Yep, and they scoop it up. Alright. Is there anything I feel like we need against the opponent different than what we already have? I think we can just run it back. Yeah, I think I'll just run it back. Yeah, I think I'm going to make some major changes to the side deck here. Because I feel like Karn would be a good card to have for the deck. The question is, how do we adjust the deck to include? Alright, on the open, this seems pretty solid. We'll keep it. Alright, we'll just have this into the battlefield tapped. I'm worried about shocking myself just to only put a Soul Guide onto the board. Anissa. And they mill it away. Alright. Go for a birth. So, next turn it's just going to be lands. Oh, hello. An Arc Bow, huh? That's going to make the opponent hit for a lot of damage real quick. Pass it back. Hold up Mirror Shells. Discard. They can pay for that, so I do not discard Mirror Shell for it. Alright, we will just dove in this. Really? They trade that in already just to get a questing beast? Okay. That seemed a little premature, but we'll let the opponent do that. We'll put Soul Guide to the board. And we will exile one of these. Soul Guide is going to be actually useful to sit on the board because we can go Doom Foretold and start forcing the opponent to sacrifice things. Yep. It gets bigger. I'm going to have to counterspell that. Alright. Land 1, 2, Golden Egg. Going for the Golden Egg allows us to sacrifice it to gain some life in the event that the opponent just attacks in. Okay, gotta let that resolve. Hey Izzy, how things going? Added 3 new channels to your Discord. Oh, okay. I did actually notice that you were doing some work on your Discord. I didn't realize it was 3 new channels. Because I do get those little notifications once when you add something new there. Alright, so we're actually just going to sacrifice everything here on our side. We gotta try to dig for an answer. Let's see. Bringing those back with Dance doesn't really help us too much. Best we can do is Doom Foretold, force him to sacrifice something, you sacrifice Hardened Scales, and swing lethal. So we'll just go ahead and scoop it here. Alright. I don't think the Portable Hole is going to be that useful against this opponent, so we'll take those out, go with Eliminates, since a majority of their cards are 3 costs. Try to think if we need to bring in anything else. May just want to try a Rite of Oblivion. And we will discard, or I'm sorry, remove a... We'll remove 1 Doom Foretold. We'll try it like that. Because we're putting in more things that makes it so we have to have sacrifice fodder for, so having that be Doom Foretold could get in the way. Let's see, so your channel is to talk about game ideas. You might have a channel to send interesting YouTube videos, and a channel to rant about just things in general, I guess. Alright. I mean, I'll have to make sure to check those out later. Alrighty, so we'll take the play. Let's see here. We'll keep this, because we have a lot of mana production here. I think being able to go land, put the Lantern on board right away isn't terrible. Now you might be wondering why I chose not to remove the Lanterns out of the deck. It's because we can still sacrifice them for card draw, but we also can sacrifice them to the other card effects for value. Alright, put Lettuce to the board. Alright, Burning Tree for our opponent. Another Burning Tree for our opponent. Alright, we're looking for a sweeper, that means. So it's got the old content that you're worried about maybe sharing. Alright, based off what our opponent's done, I feel safe enough just to go for the Celeste here, but let's actually just shock this in and pass. This way we can hold up Mirror Shell to counterspell anything our opponent really does. We also have access to Dovin's Veto. It's kind of rude to do this, but we know the opponent's stuck on mana, so we're going to get rid of the mana source. Alright, 1, 2, 3. There's the Celestis. Pass it back. Show off your modded house that you had in Skyrim. Oh. Now, there are just so many different mods for Skyrim. That game has been around for ages, it feels. But that's one of the nice things about Skyrim, is that they gave all that support, so that way you could just play it with a bunch of mods that either just up the quality of life on it, considering how old the game is. But there's also just things that just completely change the game, and it becomes something else. It's interesting on how they do it. Alright, opponent got greedy with this one land keep, and it is punishing them very harshly. Alright. We'll go ahead and draw a card with this. Alright, Birth of Lilith is pretty good. We'll take the action. We'll go ahead and discard this at this point. Let's see, so we can 1, 2 get this, play land, depopulate. They will get a card draw here, but we sweep up the board, and we get the loot ability once more. I'm just gonna go ahead and discard another no, I'm gonna discard Dance of the Manse. Alright. Put this on the board, pass it back. Hopefully we can loot something away that's not super relevant. You know what? Not super relevant. It's actually better for us to have that in the graveyard at this point. I'm fairly certain the moment we resolve this Sea God, though, the opponent just scoops it up. Okay. Sea God to the board. And there they go. Yeah, because it's going to be hard for them to do anything at this point with only 2 mana. Izzy, I love that you always have these ideas, but I want to also do my own things also. Well, what's your idea, anyways? Well, let's hear it still. A Hollard deck? Oh, this is the creature that if you kick things, it gets +1/+1 counters. Yeah, so whenever you cast a spell, if it was kicked, put a +1/+1 counter on it, then it deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters onto each opponent. I think that would be a very hard deck to build, because we have to find a lot of really good spells that have kickers to them. Not that they don't exist, but you also have to like find things that, you know, work around that creature. I'll tell you what. I'll try to work on building that in the background, and maybe have it ready for another stream. Because I don't think I can do that one quickly off the top of my head. And I would like to actually... I'll make a note. Build Holler deck. And we'll take that on, and I'll take that as a challenge to try to build for the next stream. Yeah, well, I'll try to think about it and see what I can do for the cards for that. All right. On the open for this hand though, we will take the keep. We're probably against another Cat Oven deck, but we have the Portable Hole, which is going to be good against them. A Depopulate to sweep, Birth the Meletis to help us develop walls. So I think we have a decent hand. Yep. So Trail Crumbs for our opponent. So it is a food deck. I'm actually going to Portable Hole and get rid of Trail of Crumbs, just to start denying the opponent the ability to get the card advantage that they normally would have with that. Alright, go for this, so that way we can get a land. Alright, so opponent can sacrifice that, deal a point of damage to us. At this point, I think we just go ahead and fire off a Depopulate. I was thinking about maybe going for the Doom Foretold. Actually, let's go Doom Foretold. We'll end up taking damage from our opponent because they're going to keep the Mayhem Devil. But we have a fun little interaction with this Doom Foretold against the opponent. Oh, really? They get rid of the Mayhem Devil. I was a little surprised by that. Oh, they bring out Corvold. Interesting. So, due to the triggering process, we can sacrifice the Birth of Meletis here. So instead of gaining the 2 life, we just get, you know, pure card advantage. And we hit them with the Depopulate. So now they'll have to discard a card, and we will get some great value out of this. All right, that was enough to cause them to scoop. We answered their boss monster, and they felt they could not handle the rest of that match. Okay. What do we do against this deck? We played against it before. We had some issues. I think Doom Foretold is a little slow against them, so I would rather have the Rites of Oblivion. And we'll take Dovin's Veto out for some Eliminates. We'll try it like that. I forgot to do the thing that I wanted to do, which was add the Karn to the deck. Because this is one of the decks I'd love to have Karn for. This hand, I don't think this one's a keep. It's great that we have Soul Guide, but not enough lands. Alright, we'll keep this one. I'm going to put the Castle Ardenvale on the bottom. The reason why I'm putting Castle Ardenvale on the bottom is it will have to come into play tap since we don't have a land for it. Let's lead with Temple of Deceit, so that we have both black and blue set up. I'll keep the Portable Hole. Alright, opponent leads off with another Trail of Crumbs, but they missed their land drop, so they went super greedy, and we're going to go for the punish. Get rid of Trail of Crumbs. Now, one of the things that you could argue is maybe it was a little more punishing just to kill off the goose. But the goose can only be used for one more mana. Okay. Yeah, that's... Opponent was just super greedy with their keep, and that was enough to send them packing. Well, actually, the thing is, Lurrus is actually banned from basically Arena. I don't even think you're. Are you even able to play Lurrus in Historic? I don't even think you're allowed to. Deck limit. Let's actually just delete this one. Actually kind of want to keep this deck because that was actually really cool. We can dumpster this one. No, I'm not in Historic. I'm actually in Explorer or format. Didn't I write Explorer? Yeah, we're in Explorer. But Lurrus, let's see, it's double R, isn't it? Oh no, it actually is available in Historic. Okay. Because I know in the Explorer format, Lurrus is banned. See? So that's why I'm like, unfortunately, it's like, Historic mode, yeah, we could do it, but not for Explorer. We're playing Explorer right now. I actually forget which cards are actually banned out of the Historic format now I think about it, because they started making it so that way you had to use the rebalanced version of cards. The thing is, I actually really do like Lurrus, the card itself. And I don't even feel like you have to play it as a companion. You can just run it in the 60, and it's just an amazing card. $250 Lurrus is a terrible deck. I have tried it. It's not good. Well, I'm not even sure what your goal is to do to win with a 250 card Lurrus deck. This is supposed to be like a Battle of Wits style deck. But you couldn't play Battle of Wits. It cost too much. Alright, on the open, it's greedy to keep this one. But why am I against Cat Oven again? Is there no one else, like, no other deck idea out here? I guess I'll be greedy and try keeping it, though. We have double depopulate. Brick Militia should get us to the land. Veto is decent. Alright. It's foods. I'll actually keep Restoration. So Restoration is kind of cool because we actually get to potentially see it now with Birth Meletis, where we'll play the Birth Meletis first, get the land out of it. Then we can, after... I can't play Birth Meletis this turn because this has to come and play tapped, but... Alright, Mayhem Devil for the opponent. Go for the Meletis. We'll play Rafine's Tower as our land for the turn. So we can go land, depopulate, clear the board. Next turn, we can go for the Restoration, holding up Veto. Well, the thing is, I'm not even sure why you're seeing a lot of 250 card decks. It's just like building a ridiculously large deck for just like throwing your collection into a pile for no reason. All right, opponent gets greedy with a Corvold against black, white, blue. They should know that that's dangerous, but they're just going to go for the value they can get right now. I guess they're going, if you have the sweep, I'm going to force you to use it, and we gladly use it to get those off the board. Alright, opponent goes for another Corvold. So I'm just going to depopulate again. I have no clue why people do that other than just doing it for a meme. Alright. Get rid of another Corvold. I mean, one of the things we could have done against that Corvold play is counterspell whatever they try to play. Freaking heck. The Corvolds don't stop coming. But then I guess the board wipes don't stop coming either. Let's go Restoration. Land. Oh, my music stopped. Why did you stop, music? Play the land, pass it back. This way I can hold up Mirror Shell Crab. And we can counter most anything they try to play. So, if the opponent wants to attack with Corvold, they must sacrifice a card, which means that they're going to lose another land. We take a hit here. There's no denying that. Instead of discarding the crab, I probably should just use Dovin's Veto on that, in all honesty. Let's see. Discard. We'll discard Veto. No, I don't really want to discard Veto. I'll discard Portable Hole. Get the Brick Meletis. This gives us a land. Get to depopulate. And pass it back. Just gonna hold up Veto. Having fun making Discord channels there, huh? Oh, yeah. There you go. Yes. Hey, I do like the Discord. Alright. Let's see. So, opponent's just going to pass it. At this point... Wait. It's our turn. Let's go for the Celestis to the board. Pass it back. At this point, we have double veto to counterspell any theft spells. If they go for any destruction spells, we also can counter those. If they choose not to do anything, we have the ability to just scry. Sacrifice the wall and the block. Alright, Mayhem Devil is annoying. What are you staring at my Celestis for? Alright, go for Vantress. Doom Foretold, we'll keep that. Put the land on the bottom, because don't really feel like we need more lands. So we have to sacrifice that. We'll take a point of damage from the devil. We'll attempt to attack in. Come on, opponent. What you gonna do? Gonna Boseiju me. Oh, okay. Well, that gets us a land out of our deck. We'll take that action. We'll make it a Watery Grave. Enters tapped. Get Doom Foretold on the board and pass it back to the opponent. I mean, I do like the idea of trying to mess around with trying to make budget decks and seeing if there's a way to make them work. The problem is if you focus around certain uncommons, unfortunately you still have to use certain rares to make them have a sense of power to them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so we're going to sacrifice the Celestis here. No Witch's Oven for you. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Fortunately, they exiled one of our cards already from our graveyard. Let's get rid of Mayhem Devil. And it'll be the opponent's turn. So they'll have to sacrifice Jengatha. I'm a little worried about our opponent having a theft spell. But I had to animate these in order to not die to the Hive the Eye Tyrant here. If they didn't actually get rid of our Birth of Meletis here, we could have had an answer. But then again, I realized I made a mistake. I shouldn't have sacrificed Doom Foretold. Got lucky. Because... So this is what I really should have done. I should have sacrificed Doom Foretold to itself, reanimated the Doom Foretold as one of our cards, because we would have had the 1 more mana thanks to the Celestis, and we could have gotten Mirror Shell Crab from our graveyard. And that would have given us the 4 creatures, which we really needed. in case they had a steal spell to go with the attack with the Eye Tyrant. But that's just a look back and realizing what we made as a mistake. Thankfully, we didn't get punished too hard for it. Alright, we will do the same thing we did the last time and run it back. Yeah, the reason why, though, I think Halar there will be an interesting deck idea, and I'll take your challenge on making that. Because I think there's enough kicker cards that you could make a deck around it. But I think it'll actually come out better after Dominaria releases, because it'll have a nice little goblin that's coming out that's a 2-cost. That you can kick for 1 green and search your deck for a land. And I think that will help the deck a lot. Like, Halar seems like a very powerful ability, but it requires a lot of mana to pay those extra kicker costs, so it would be very hard to do. And with all the new cards that are coming out, it seems like it might be more feasible. Alright, on the open, though, I'm going to try keeping this. Alright, Gilded Goose for our opponent. Go for the Temple of Silence. Put this on the bottom, since we don't have any ability to play that anytime soon. Next turn, it'll be Soul Guide, just to sit on the board. And we'll probably bring out Rafine's Tower as well. Let's see. I'm going to actually just shock myself for the Birth Meletis here. This allows us to potentially use Rite of Oblivion to exile something our opponent brings to the board. Okay, they put a cat in the graveyard. They're going to bring out the Oven. If they bring out the Oven, we use Rite of Oblivion, get rid of the Oven. And then we bring out the Soul Guide Lantern to get rid of the cat. We'll give up the Birth of Meletis for the Rite of Oblivion, if that's the case. Alright, they don't bring out Oven. So, if that's the case, we definitely play Soul Guide, get rid of the cat. I'm just thinking, do we have any other play? Not really, so I think we... Rafine's Tower, Soul Guide. Get rid of the cat. Opponent's turn. Alright, this Depopulate will get rid of the Reflections and 2 Goblin tokens. Block there. Alright, opponent's sacrificing the treasure to get some card draw. You're gonna buy Jingatha. Alright, we hit him depopulate. Get rid of this board. And since we have another depopulate in hand, we'll be able to get rid of this Mirror Breaker along with whatever they bring to the board. If they choose not to bring anything to the board, we may just use Rite of Oblivion. No, we use Doom Foretold. Okay, it's Corvold. Corvold is very dangerous, so... Because they can just always sacrifice that just to get a card draw. Okay. Let's see. There's that Doom Foretold. And I'm an idiot. Because I even, like, clicked on it saying, there's that Doom Foretold, and I was thinking, there's that Depopulate. I just kind of made the opponent even scarier by putting that on the board. So, opponent's going to copy the Goose. I'm not sure why they do that. I mean, they have to sacrifice a non-token card. Yeah, so I could have just accidentally punted and died right now because of that. Yep. So the opponent does get to see that we have both Depopulate and Rite of Oblivion here. So even if they go like double Thoughtseize, we can use Rite of Oblivion with the Soul Guide Lantern or the Doom Foretold, get rid of the Corvold. But the thing is, it's Corvold's still going to hit us for 8 at the very least. Alright, Mayhem Devil to the board. So they attack, probably sacrifice the Goose token. Go up to 8. We take a point from Mayhem Devil. Okay, I'm not sure why they sacrificed that way. And again, token gets sacrificed at the end of turn, so I guess they're going for the extra value there for card draw at the very least. And they do get an extra point of damage from Mayhem Devil then. Yep, down to 6. Our turn, sacrifice Doom Foretold, down to 5. Yep, so my misclick definitely did me in. Like, I had the right answer there, and I just threw it so hard. Let's see here. You know what? Let's go ahead and just cut the Dovins. And try and think like what else we may use here. I guess we'll put in another portable hole. Now most of their cards are mana value 3 or more that are permanents, but they generate a lot of tokens, and getting rid of those tokens is not a bad thing. Okay, this is super awkward, but I think we can try keeping this. Problem is we have double Rite of Oblivion. That's actually a problem because we don't have, we only have 1 permanent in hand. Alright, let's scry. Put that on the bottom. While it's nice having more removal, I want to get lands at this point. There's Thoughtseize. Worst thing they can take from us is the egg, actually. We can't even play the egg next turn is the issue. Because Rite of Oblivion has become useless if we don't have something to sacrifice to it. Depopulate they may just steal because it is just a straight-up sweeper. But they take the egg. Draw another Depopulate. Need a Historic or Explorer Artisan play queue. You know, it would actually be kind of cool if we had like an Artisan or a what do you call it? Pauper queue that you can just go into. Now, I do know that there are people who will host events online that you can just be a part of, but there's a big difference between just joining someone's event that they made versus actually being able to take part in just a easy to click button and just play whenever you want. Alright, opponent, what you got? Alright, they're going to put the Mayhem to the Devil to the board. We will just get rid of it now. They sacrifice something, the Witch's Oven, deals a point of damage to us. They get a food. Fortunately, they get a card draw if they don't sacrifice Mayhem Devil. So I think it's more profitable for them just to let Mayhem Devil die here to depopulate, so that way they get the card draw. And that's what they do. Well, the thing is, Izzy, I know some people like their common-only plays, which is why I said it'd be kind of cool if you had both Artisan and Pauper. Just that way, you know, you give something for everyone on the formats. The thing is, you'll actually be probably surprised how many commons are actually very well statted for their costs. The problem is, it's when you compare the power value of a common to a rare, the commons always come up short. Because there's a number of commons that beat out rares on their power level, and even uncommons. So, alright. Land to the board. So let's see, we can discard a Rite of Oblivion here. Get back the egg just for card draw. I wonder if I'm going to get punished for my greed because I went for the Iganjo here instead of just straight up sweeping right away. But I figure by doing this, I still had Mirror Shell to be able to discard, tax the opponent's spell. Alright. They get in some damage. I was going to bind Jingafa and pass. Oh no, they're going to go for the Corval. I'm actually going to discard just to deny them the card draw. Because they resolve Corvald, they could just get a ton of card draw in response to me depopulating. Because they'll get a card draw from being able to sacrifice one of these, create food. They could sacrifice the treasures in response, activate a food, get draw that way as well. Alright, so we'll discard one of these. Oh, thank you very much for the hydrates. Yeah, I'm only doing the one there this time, Izzy. Alright. So, hit them with the depopulate. I need to develop something, you know, that's actually, you know, fun for people to sink those points into. I've been working on trying to get those set up, but I haven't been able to fully think how to get them to work. I guess I'll have to, up the cost on that hydrate then, huh? Alright, Cauldron Familiar for our opponent means that we need to get rid of the Witch's Oven now. Corvold. This opponent does not miss this Corvold. Because now they sacrifice a food, bring back the cat, get another card draw. Welcome to Cat Oven is one of the most ridiculous decks in the format. Because now they can sacrifice it to the oven, get themselves even more card draw. Now, I don't think they sacrifice it right away to the oven, because it's better for them to wait for me to try to interact with them. Alright, let's go for a egg to the board. Get a redraw. Cry a little. Get rid of the Corvold. Now, the question is, are they going to just loop the cat? It looks like they are just going to loop the cat. Alright. Well, I'll have to check out your YouTube section a little bit later. Alright, we'll get rid of... here's the issue. Do we get rid of the oven or do we get rid of Kiki Jiki? I think we actually will get punished more if we don't get rid of Kiki Jiki. The reason why I say this, if they resolve a Mayhem Devil, they can make a copy of it, and then they just probably punish us out of the game. Gonna hold on to the Rafine's Tower, might need to cycle it. Yep, more Corvold. And it's not too surprising to hit another Corvold, considering how much extra card draw they've done. But that is Corvold number 3 for our opponent. And again, it's still 3 copies of it within the top 30 of the deck. Okay, so... managed to actually, because we held the land, get them to fire off a useless duress. Let's see, your video you're talking about is an ASMR stop-motion video on someone cooking with Legos. I'm not entirely sure what it means to cook with Legos, but that sounds rather random and interesting. I've got Best of Sea Gods here. At this point, I think I have to still get rid of this, giving up our Architect. was thinking maybe we give up the Celestis, but I think if we can let the day-night cycle thing happen, it might help us offset some of the life we're losing from the cat. Play the land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So let's see. Opponent can attack in. They possibly have another Mayhem Devil at this point. If they have another Mayhem Devil, we are just straight up dead because of Witch's Oven. Alright, Thoughtseize gets rid of Best of Sea Gods. Alright, so sacrifice 1, sacrifice 2, 3, and they can just naturally sacrifice. So we'll just go ahead and scoop it up. I don't want to wait for all the triggers. Alright. So I'm going to make a quick adjustment to the deck, considering how many times we've played against Cat Oven. And we will add Karn, the Great Creator, to the deck. With that involved, let's see, let's actually go down 1 Doom Foretold. And we'll go down... one Soul Guide Lantern in the main board, I guess. And then we adjust the side deck more. So let's actually take out Rites of Oblivion. Take out and eliminate. Let's see, from there we will add... Let's see, I think we'll only need 1 Graph Diggers, right? See, don't do it. You will not see Cat Oven if... Well, the thing is, it's Karn's still good in the deck because I can add in all these cards to the side deck that we can pull out because of how this Karn works. This card just simply being on the board shuts down a lot of decks that just use artifacts, and we can -2 and just grab any artifact that can help us as we need. So it's still very relevant and useful for the deck. So it's not just playing around one deck by doing this. It plays around a lot of decks. I'm just forgetting the names of all the artifacts that I'm going to want to grab with this, so I'm just kind of going one at a time here, because Spyglasses will be useful because we can use these to shut off creature lands or planeswalkers that activate for effects. That's a little bit of a non-bo, but we can grab the Immortal Sun. Because, well, it'll shut off our ability to use Karn. It also shuts off all Super Friend decks. And let's see. God Pharaoh statue, if we resolve that, shuts off a lot of decks from being able to play anymore. And yeah, so that does, I think, offers a lot of extra options, which will be useful. Although I'm kind of curious. Okay, that card is not in the arena system. I was checking to see if they had a certain artifact that just gave yourself hexproof. I was going to include a copy of that. Okay, so the changes that we made is that we decided to add Karn to the deck because it shuts off all the artifact activates. The +1 can turn our artifacts into creatures, and the -2 allows us now to make better use of the sideboard even in game 1. So I think that'll help us out. We'll do just only a couple more games with this, considering how long it takes to play the matches, especially in best of 3. We're currently at a 2-2 rate on the deck. We'll probably only play 3 more here, at most. If you find some new problem your deck can't handle, just run the Angel that does that, or run Teo. Well, I mean, I think Karn here is going to still work out really well, especially in this kind of a hand, so we'll keep this. Oh, look! We're against red-white. That's different. So, is this cycling? If it's cycling, that's fine, because we can use... Oh, no, it's Virtuoso. So, alright. Portable Hole, get rid of Virtuoso. And... Ardenvale, pass. Hoplite for our opponent. We'll go for a Restoration of Iganjo. So this is the red-white spells deck. They have a whole bunch of spells that are meant to target their cards, give them temporary buffs, but the cards are have this heroic nature. Whenever you target them, they get a bonus. Alright, so we have Dovin's Veto, so I'm going to use Portable Hole here, get rid of the Hoplite. And I think what we're going to do is we're actually just going to discard this Swamp. That way we can accelerate our mana. And if the opponent doesn't have an answer to Portable Hole, we still at least have Dovin's Veto up. Yep, I figured they have the God's Willing, but we counterspell. And there we go. I didn't go for the Depopulate because the opponent could just have the spell that gives a creature indestructible. Go for Karn. I should have probably put some kind of mana rock in the side deck. Let's go ahead and grab... Graft Diggers. Play this. So now they can't play like Homestead Courage or any other spells from their graveyard. Because it says players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Go for the minus. God Pharaohs. Put the statue on the board. All their spells now cost an extra 2. At the end of our turn, they lose a life. We'll just let Karn go since we have backup Karn. Alright. Luminancer for our opponent, but that's fine. We'll attack in, get ourselves a 1-1. And this is colorless, so they can't do a sneak through by saying they'll get protection from a color and be able to push through, and Cure Best of Sea Gods definitely pushes us that win. Alright. So, grab a Portable Hole. Leave 1 in the side deck for purpose of grabbing with Karn. Test of Talents. We'll grab 2 of these. Actually, just take Sea God down 1. And go down a Soul Guide. Just take Soul Guide out, I think. Cessna Talents is important in the deck because we can then get rid of all copies of a spell from their deck that they use for casting. It's important because they use cards like Ancestral Anger here, which gets extra bonus for each copies in their graveyard. And getting rid of the cantrip function is also still useful against the opponent. Alright. I may have wanted to have brought in an instant speed removal spell, but we'll see how it runs. Alright, we have double depopulate, test of talents. I'll try keeping it. Let's see, we'll lead with the Temple of Deceit. I don't think I need that many depopulates. We'll put 1 bottom. Alright, Virtuoso for the opponent. Go for the land, pass. You gotta hold up Test of Talents here. Homestead Courage. We are going to counterspell that. Because that's going to deny them a lot of their value. Alright, they have a protection from a color in hand. Alright, we take a bit of a hit. Shock ourselves. Pass it back. I chose to go for the shock because it made it so that way we can play Crab or Dovin's Veto. Because I wasn't sure if they were going to go for a spell to target Virtuoso or if they're going to go for the Legionnaire. Alright, we get a Scry. I'll keep the Celestis. Pass it back. Celestis is good for us to keep because it allows us to start recovering life. Yeah, you could, but I already have an idea what their entire deck is. Because the moment you select the 4th copy of a card, it does kick you out. You are correct. Alright, let's go ahead with the Depopulate. This now requires them to have Indestructible to give to a creature to save these. Protection won't cut it. That on the bottom. Alright, another Virtuoso. Another Hoplite. We just depopulate again. Let's see. Lands. 1, 2, 3. Celestis. Depop. And we'll probably see the opponent scoop now. Oh, nope. They play the Jingatha. Alright, let's... 1, 2, 3. Night today. Discard. Pass it back. The crab still potentially useful. Hit that with Veto. Doom Foretold and Portable Hole. This will allow us to turn it back to day, and we have a Portable Hole that we can sacrifice instead of giving up the Celestis. Give up the land. So the opponent now is going to have to discard a card during their turn. Discard the land. Sacrifice. Mirror Shell to board. We're going to get a card draw here. We're going to make them discard, gain some life. Alright. I'm liking the look of this. Our Arcanus is a bit difficult, but... Oh, yeah, that's going to make them scoop. Because there's no protecting from this non-targeted sacrifice. Yep. There they go. And there we go, we're dancing. Now, granted, we haven't really used Dance of the Manse too much, because it's only 2 copies in the deck. But I can't really up the number of copies, because if we draw them in too many copies in the early game, we'll just lose. Alright. We'll keep this. So, lead with Deceit. Land to the bottom. I think we're against the Fight Rigging deck. And unfortunately, yeah, I accidentally mistook this for a different land here. So, we could get punished by a Fight Rigging this turn. I should have played this one first and then do that. Oh, hello, Thief of Sanity. How'd you work again? You get to look at that player's top 3 cards, and then you get to exile 1. Okay. That's the case. Restoration. Land. I haven't seen someone play the Thief of Sanity in a while, and I always thought this was a really cool card. Because you steal people's cards, and then you can play them against them just because you hit the player. Birth of Meletis really does nothing for the opponent. Alright. I'll discard... Discard Simulacrum. Get the Fielder Rune. Land. Get the Thief of Sanity off the board. Just a little too dangerous to let our opponent have a Thief of Sanity, because while none of our cards directly influence us, it's still just a shame if they steal too many cards from us. Look in chat about description of Lego video. What do you mean about that? Wait, where'd you post the Lego video? Oh, it's interesting YouTube there. All right. Oh wait, I've actually seen some of those videos from that person before, I think. Yeah, those things are pretty crazy looking. Alright, sorry, got distracted. Let me get back to the game here. We unfortunately really don't have anything we can do. I don't see a reason to get rid of the wall with the portable hole, so I'm just going to pass the turn. If opponent doesn't do anything, we can just Castle Ardenvale, start making tokens, go wide. Oh, okay. Honestly, was not expecting that. Okay, I do have enough cards that they can do that. Okay, let's go 1, 2, the lettuce. Get another land. Pass it back. Okay, I don't have anything to do about that. We have to find ourselves a board sweep. So opponent's got a really weird and interesting deck here. We'll get rid of the ambusher. We do have to give up our 3-4 there, but overall I think that's worth it. Alright, we'll put this on the board. We will take away the ambusher. I don't think they have recursion, but they just might. Wait. Oh, you're talking about the description in the stream chat? Because I think you already said something about that. I did read it, I thought. Yeah, Mika. Oh, I forgot to actually read it out loud. I do apologize. Yeah, the big salmon. I forgot to read about that out loud. But yeah, I have seen some of their stuff before. It is actually pretty crazy. No attacks here. How do you work again? Enters battlefield, create 2. We'll go for a portable hole. Get rid of this. I'm just trying to reduce how many things can come in at us, because this way we can still block the 2-2, not have to worry about any real damage coming through. Alright, so we block here, use the colored token to block. Let's sacrifice this to draw. Karn, there's a good draw. One, 2, 3, 4. Karn. I wonder how many like counterspells this opponent's just maybe sitting on. Okay, that's fine. Let's actually go for a... Let's see, if we do Spyglass, we can shut that off, but I don't think that's necessary. Go for the statue. Go for another restoration. Land. Play the land. And go for portable hole. Get rid of the token. So our goal is just to keep it on the day side. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have the ability to do X6 for the purpose of bringing back cards. Oh wait, did the opponent really just mill us? Ooh, that's good for us. We just need one more land though. We'll let the Karn go. Come on, deck, top deck a land. Yes. Yes, I will discard this. Go ahead and get the land. 5, 6, 7. I really don't hope I run into a Spell Pierce here, because that would feel real bad. Alright, so... grab an egg. Grab a lantern. Guess we'll grab one of these as well. Oh, the value! We'll take away this, just in case the opponent has the ability to bring that back. Go get ourselves another blue source. And yeah, opponent scoops it up. There we go. Dance of the Manse got to resolve against an opponent with counterspell magic. It was nice to see it work. Now, opponent is some weird hodgepodge deck. I have no clue what to expect from. Trying to think what is our real way to interact with this opponent. Eliminate doesn't really do anything, but I think we do want to bring in the Infernal Grasp. Maybe one more Veto. Maybe not. I don't think their graveyard matters, so I'll take away a Soul Guide. And we just run it like this. You gave me Hosty Hosty? What? In Steam chat, I gave you something. I gave you Hosty Hosty. What do you mean? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Oh, you hosted me on your channel. Got it. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. It took me a moment for that like click in and what that meant. So I do apologize, but I eventually got it. Thank you very much there, Izzy. All right, we'll keep this. All right, let's go for Temple of Silence. So we can try to find another land. This is like finding another land. So let's see. Turn 2. Do I shock myself? Go for egg. I thought erasure from our opponent. I'm not sure what they hate on more here. I figured it'd be the Doom Foretold, because if they have another discard spell, they just hit another Doom Foretold, because it's the card that does the most against them. Let's go for the tower. Oh, no. I think that was more on me than you. Yep, see, there's another Thought Erasure, so we'll probably see Doom Foretold go. Because Doom Foretold is the card that just prevents them from being able to flash in their wolf and just get value. Let's go ahead and go for Birth Meletis. Get ourselves a land. Play this tap so that we don't have to shock ourselves. Next turn we can go for the Restoration here. Okay. I don't know why you'd ever Assassin's Trophy that. I honestly don't know why you'd ever Assassin's Trophy that. Let's actually go Solemn Simulacrum here. This allows us to play around the counterspell they have. Because we don't have 4 cards in our graveyard. We only have 3. So if we went for Iganjo, they could potentially counterspell it with Drown in the Lock. Okay, I mean, sure, I'll take another 2 more lands out of my deck. I appreciate the ramp here, opponent. We'll also get ourselves a card draw. I'm not sure if our opponent really wanted to do that. Like, look how many more lands we have over our opponent because they decided Assassin's Trophy twice. It's crazy. We'll attempt Restoration. This way, if they have Drown Lock, we bait it out. Alright. Opponent doesn't fall for the bait there. I guess we'll still go for Karn. Go for the minus. Get the statue. And I guess we'll throw out the Soul Guide Lantern just to have an extra artifact on the board. Alright, there's the Ambusher. I figured that was possibly what they were holding up this entire time here. But yeah, no, the Assassin's Trophy on Birth of Meletis doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, that's a shame. There goes Sea Gods. Do we have anything in our graveyard worth reanimating? I guess we could put a stop on our upkeep. Sacrifice to draw. Alright. Yeah, so by doing that, maybe it's not like I could discard this. Grab back Soul Guide Lantern. Alright, go for the statue. The opponent's spells now cost an extra 2 more to cast. I'd rather prioritize getting this to the board than depopulating. Like, the depopulate will kill our Iganjo now, but we made it sound where the opponent possibly can't play a lot of their cards. Okay. And draw a card. Let's destroy this. At this point, I'm just kind of deck thinning our own lands. Like, we've already have the point where we don't have any lands left in our deck. Thanks to their Assassin's Trophies and our own land fetchers. Alright, well, we'll just land pass. Are they passing? Alright. Destroy the Watery Grave. Attack more of their blue sources. I don't think we're strip mining them with this yet. But I was trying to see if maybe they weren't running enough lands. Oh! We unfortunately have just hit double portable hole. So we don't really have anything to do to this board. Just waiting to draw something to play. Oh no, they have Cling to Dust. This unfortunately doesn't get a land out of our deck. We already pulled all the lands out because the last Plains was already sitting in our hand. The question is, does the Godfair statue manage to kill the opponent at this point? Alright, Mirror Shell to the board. The 5/7 crab, do your work. So, in order for them to actually deal with the crab, they have to use a spell that is going to be taxed by an extra 2 because of the statue. And then they still have to pay an extra 3 more. Oh, Celestis is great. Alright, they scoop it up. So yeah, that's God Pharaoh statue locking our opponent out of the game there. I was actually going to play the Celestis, turn it to Knight immediately, and try to dig ourselves into something. And I honestly was tempted just to play the portable hold to turn it back from Knight to Day. So that way it goes to the opponent's turn, and we get to loot again. Because at this point, it's if we hit the ability to interact with our graveyard, the opponent just straight loses. But then again, they're already on a losing board. Alright. I think we'll just go ahead and call that there for the Dance of the Manse. Let me double check, see how we are on the play on it. Okay, so we actually went 4-2 with the deck. After we made the changes to add Karn, we immediately won 2 games. And we got to see Karn actually impact the actual games in both scenarios. So I do think Karn was definitely a correct addition. But in case you may have joined us late and missed it, this was the deck idea here. Now, when we added the Karn, we were able to start getting access to the sideboard and have answers for a lot of things that we didn't have before. And being able to just immediately go in here, get like the God Pharaoh statue or Spyglass or even Cage and the portable holes, that meant a lot for our deck. So Karn in the deck definitely helps out a lot. Now, I do think the deck does still run slow, and we don't necessarily have a whole lot of direct interaction with our opponent. We rely heavily on Depopulate to get us out of jams. So it's a little worrying about how much we rely on the sweeper here. But the Sea Gods definitely put in some work. Crabs put in work. So it was nice seeing it all. And we did actually get a couple Dance of the Manses off that were impressive. So overall, still a fun deck if you like controlling the board. Alright, on to the next deck idea. So this one I actually call Patched Up Aggro. So I'll go ahead and go into the deck design here. So Patched Up Aggro is a deck focused around the idea of we can have Patch Up. We can return up to 3 creatures with total mana value 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. This means that we're going to be running a lot of just cheap, fast cards. And I'll be honest, I have a 1 of Baneslayer Angel in here because I figure if we get dragged into a late game, this could just close out matches. Or if we end up flooding still with our 20 lands and we draw this, it's a really amazing card. Now, our primary goal is that we play a lot of cheap cards like Hopeful Initiate, Selfless Saviors as our good 1-drops. We have the Lumeric Aspirant, Hushbringer, Containment Priest, Apostle of Purifying Light, and Adanto Vanguard as our 2-drops. Now, Vanguard's our best attacker because we can just pay 4 life, give this indestructible. But Hushbringer becomes an amazing attacker for us if we have a Lumeric Aspirant on the board because we can just put +1/+1 counters on this and it'll just flying a lifelink beater. And it's a great combo of cards. And being able to shut off the enter battlefield effect usually is a negative effect against all decks with the exception of a Kroxa deck. So we just have to hopefully not run against Kroxa. The Containment Priest is in the deck because if we go against the Coco decks, those will usually get enough value against us that we'll just straight up lose if they land a Coco. So this allows us to flash in response to the Coco and make it so all the cards that they would get from it just go straight into exile. They don't get the cards. Now, it is only a 2-elf because it's a we might come across this. Another card that is amazing in the deck, only in certain situations, is Apostle of Purifying Light because it's got protection from black, meaning that a lot of cards won't really interact with this for um, removals options. But the thing is, it allows us to eat graveyards, so it gives us an option to play against Greasefang or any other recursive deck focuses. The deck runs a lot of God's Willings and Shijiri Shelters as forms of protection. And we have a couple Valor stances to serve as protection and destruction, because our goal is just really try to get a Lumeric aspirant to the board, or a Hopeful Initiate, and just try to see profit from that. We'll jump into games and see how well this can work. I'll be honest, this patched up aggro deck, I'm thinking might have some issues, because I'm relying so heavily on just 1 and 2s, but I want to see how well we can do with just 1s and 2s. Alright, on the open, we have a couple Saviors and a Vanguard. We'll try keeping it. The double patch up here, not super impressive with this hand, but I also thought how patch up was be great with the Saviors, because we can get back a Savior and protect a number of our cards. Alright, so white-blue for our opponent. We unfortunately miss a land drop here. Now, I know we say that we're a 20-land deck, but we still are technically like 24 if you count Shijiri Shelters as being able to be played as lands. We'll attempt to put a Hushbringer to the board. Do we get hit by a Censor or a Jawari's Disruption here? They try to go for an exile-based spell against the Savior. We always sacrifice in response. Yeah, so there's the Censor, but it's going for a cycle. That's interesting. And they cycle another Censor. Alright, Narset for our opponent. We'll have to kill that. Wandering Emperor. The one thing that would be a hard counter to things we're playing. Because it's just straight up exile. Oh, I just realized, I think I forgot to put the Thalia in this deck. Alrighty. Well, opponent's clearly holding up Emperor, so I'm going to attack like this. By attacking like this, I'm making it so they can't just get the Vanguard, and it's still enough pressure that the opponent's not going to want to have to deal with it. Alright. They go for the Samurai. Alright, initiate to the board, and we pass. Now, I'm trying to think, like, what do we do in this situation? See, if they have another Wandering Emperor, we're just kind of SOL here. Let's send it like this. Because this says that the opponent has to interact Yep. Alright, well, we get ourselves land. I was actually surprised that the opponent... Oh, I have to have a target for this, so I couldn't just sacrifice it to its own ability without a target. Because it's sacrificed to get U control. Yep, and that's it. Unfortunate. Let me double check. I think I actually forgot to put Thalia in the deck, and Thalia would be something we kind of want. Let me double check. Yeah, I forgot to put Thalia in. So, Thalia being a very useful card. We'll only go with 3 copies because it is still legendary. So we'll go down 1 patch up. And... which thing do I accept is a harder fight? I guess I'll go down... Containment Priests. Alright, let's try it again. I really want the Thalia in the deck because it taxing our opponent usually helps us a great deal against any control matchup. But the other reason is it is a first striker, so it's also harder for some aggro decks to handle. Alright, we'll keep this. I'm sorry, why are you back in the deck? Didn't I cut you? Oh, no, I cut the other card. That's fine, actually. This is better to have against this opponent. Alright, we'll lead with the Initiate. Alright, Unlucky Witness for our opponent. We'll go with Hushbringer because it shuts off all of their ETB and death triggers. So it's super powerful against them. As long as it's in the Croxa build. If it's a Croxa build, putting Hushbringer is just going to make me cry if they drop it right now. And the opponents... Alright, they Fatal Push. Let's see here. We'll go for Thalia. Go for Selfless Savior. Now we have a tax on the opponent, and we also have the ability to use... Alright. Mayhem Devil for our opponent is an issue. Aspirant to the board. Counter there. Attack. Alright, Fable is not an issue. Counter here. Attack. Get some training. Valor Stance, very good for us at the moment. So if they double block, they could kill one of our creatures, but we have Valor Stance to be able to give it Indestructible. Alright, nothing from our opponent there, so we'll go for the Apostle of Purifying Light. Pass it back. Now, if we can draw 1 more mana, we can play the patch-up if they kill our Aspirant. One problem with Purifying Light in this matchup is these red cards do completely stop it. But against the Mayhem Devil, it can block it all day, and they can't kill it off with Mayhem Devil. They can still use Claim the Firstborn on it, which is an issue, but... Now, if they kill the Thalia, we can use Patch Up again. Opponent's definitely thinking over all their options. Alright, there's Claim. Block. Block. Sacrifice, give protection. The opponent can just sacrifice at any time to kill Lumeric Aspirant, so that's why I went ahead and did that. And they're going to be sacrificing our creature before it comes back to our turn anyways. Alright, yep, there's the Deadly Dispute. So opponent can do 2 damage with Mayhem Devil's sacrifice triggers. They get a treasure. So there's no guarantee that they could kill the Initiate unless they had gotten a Village Rites to sacrifice the Unlucky Witness. Alright, Shijiri Shelter's pretty good. Let's just send the Initiate. See what the opponent does. Okay. It's the opponent's turn. We have an answer for the cat if they suddenly develop Cat Oven. We can always pull counters from Initiate to kill Reflection. Oh, they are a Croxa build. So we got lucky that they didn't have the Croxa once when we had Hushbringer on board. Alright, Resolve. How many cards out in the graveyard? 3? Discard Shelter. Valor Stance, get rid of Croxa. Patch Up. Add Aspirant. Selfless Savior. Probably should have put the counter on the Aspirant itself, just to help it maybe survive Mayhem Devil. But they just make copy of Mayhem Devil here, and... Okay, there's the cat. So they just pass the turn. They can kill off both the things we animate. Wow, double Cat Oven. That's impressive. Alright, where are you sending the damage? Alright, before that resolves, we will attempt to protect the initiate. Yeah, so this was a case where we were kind of screwed regardless of whatever we chose. I think the reanimation probably was not the best thing. We should have just dealt with the reflections, because they already had Mayhem Devil on board. But the fact that they dumped Double Oven and Cat from their hands to the board, it was hard to play around that kind of a scenario. Let's see. So, opponent just gets to create a copy, and yeah, no, we're... I can take away cards from their graveyard, but the issue here is they already have enough cards to reanimate Kroxa. So if I focus take Kroxa out, I can't interact with Cat Combo, and Cat Combo is going to do another, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 damage a loop. And then they'll do an extra 2 with Mayhem Devil, so we were dead if we remove the Kroxa from the graveyard. If we focus on the Cat Combo, we actually can't interrupt it because they have an extra food token here. So yeah, that's I got punished because suddenly two ovens and a cat. All right. We'll keep this. Thalia does seem a little weird considering it interrupts our protection spells, but I think it's still okay. Alright, what do they hit more, the Danto Vanguard or the Thalia? They hit the Vanguard because Vanguard is able to go indestructible. We'll send the pump, and we'll go for a Hushbringer. Decided to do the Hushbringer over Thalia this turn. That way, if our opponent was going to interact, we might have the ability to punish him more, but... You know what? Sure, I'll protect the Hushbringer here. Alright. Unfortunately, miss land drop. We're effectively a 24 land deck, and we still get treated as if we only run like 10 or something in our whole deck. Like, drawing lands is so difficult sometimes. I make sure to play the Giant Killer to prevent it from flipping to Knight. Don't want to give them the extra value with those Trespassers. Alright, opponent. And they pass. Awesome. By that I mean that sucks. Alright, bring out another Giant Killer. Opponent's turn. Interesting discards. mean, I understand them discarding High Tyrant just because they have more than enough lands. We'll tap this down. Just denying them the treasure. Alright, apparently opponent does not like the Hushbringer. Another Trespasser. Amazing. Alright, can we draw ourselves land? There we go. Oh, man. So yeah, Thalia hasn't really been known a whole lot here, just because the opponent is mostly playing creatures here and flooded. Alright, we give the opponent the opportunity to attack with all. We're going to just throw all of our blockers in front of the Glutton. Use a God's Willing on Thalia. Oh, they're actually going to focus on killing giant killers in that case. Pro Black. Don't need another copy of you. So this is the damage order. So if I go another Pro Black. We'll keep that. Okay. Aspirant to the board. Counter here. Opponent's turn. Alright, so they're being smart. They're making copies of the Graveyard Glutton. Because the Glutton is a 4/4, unlike the Giant here. I'll say that can't attack. And offer block. Just need one more mana for this Angel. And I don't think the opponent will have an easy answer to this. Luckily, we draw the land. Another counter on the Thalia. Going for it over the Angel, just to give ourselves 2 solid blockers here. And apparently the opponent had an answer to the Baneslayer. The fact that they had the answer to the Baneslayer in hand the turn we get it feels really... Like, the turn we are able to finally play it feels really bad. It's like their only card in hand. Alright. At this point, we have Reflection Kiki combo with Blood Tithe. We cannot win. That's a shame. Trying to think, is there a way to maybe make this a little bit better? Alright, on the open, it's keepable, so we will. Start off with the shelter. From here we go land, and we play out Selfless Savior and Initiate. Oh, it's a Greasefang combo deck. Awesome. So tell me, opponent, am I already dead? Considering they've milled both their cards that they're looking to find. Meaning they could potentially just play the reanimation spell, bring back Greasefang, and we lose to Parhelion. Oh, no, a Rotting Regisaur. I'll say I was not expecting that. I think what we do is we just pass here. Let the opponent discard the Rotting Regisaur. Holding up the Giant Killer. Alright. Have to kill Regisaur if that's the case. Let's see. Land Aspirant. Initiates. Giant Killer. Put a counter on the Initiate. Pass it back. Alright. They do combo us. And I'm trying to think, is there any draw to stay in this? The problem is they get the 2 4/4 angels in the air that will stay around. We can use Giant Killer to tap one of them down. But I don't think there's any way for us to stay alive. Yeah, this is unfortunately Greasefang combo, and we did not get ourselves a card that stops this combo. Like, we have them in the deck, but we actually technically used one of them because we had to deal with a 7/6 body. Oh, look, there's the other one. Problem is, we had too many Shijiri shelters, not regular lands. Because if we had the ability to discard or use Giant Killer and had enough mana to activate Giant Killer, we could have stopped them from being able to hit us for 4. I mean, we could have killed Greasefang to prevent them from reanimating. Because they can't stay away to bring back that Greasefang. Yep, alright. I was just thinking if there was any chance to interact at all, but there was 0 interaction that we had. Well, 0 interaction that actually saves us. Let me see about going back to the deck and making some tweaks. Because clearly, things are not working as intended. You know what? I think instead of the Apostle Purifying Light, there is a different card that is a 2-drop that will work. There it is, Sun Gold Sentinel. The Sun Gold Sentinel, I went with this because we still get the Exile ability, but it's now on a enter battlefield and attack trigger. But if that's the case, I think we take out the Hushbringer. We'll try putting the Containment Priest back in. Because with how our opponent decided to reanimate the Greasefang, this actually would be able to have stopped the Greasefang combo that way. Let's go ahead and give this a try. We actually do have a bit of a counterproductive nature with our deck by bringing in Containment Priest, because that means if we try to reanimate from our graveyard, this actually exiles our cards also. But we'll see how well it works. Alright, go for Selfless Savior. Bring out the Thalia. Now we kind of just need to draw some lands, that way we maybe use Giant Killer in this match. So opponent shocks in the Overgrown Tomb. Might be trying to go for a Fatal Push, but we can protect with Selfless Savior onto Thalia. Alright, protect it. Alright, we get a land, we'll attack in. Opponent's turn, we have God's Willing, ×2. Alright, Tireless Tracker's gonna be a bit of an issue. Less of an issue with the draw for the land, because if they sacrifice the clues to draw, it'll grow the tracker so we can kill it with the giant killing. Pro black. Bottom. Let's go for Savior to the board. And pass back. I don't have an exact idea on the card list for our opponent's deck, as the Abzan deck is not always the same. Opponent, can you please stop trying to kill my Thalia? Probably should not have kept that land on top, in all honesty. Should have put it on the bottom, because we already put our Baneslayer on the bottom. Oh, that's rude, opponent. There goes Giant Killer. Alright, opponent's turn. If they try to make us discard the Containment Priest, we can just flash it in. The issue is Tireless Tracker is able to grow 1, 2, 3. They can draw 3 cards, give that 3+1/+1 counters. They're going to still continue to try to kill Thalia. Yep. So an unanswered tireless tracker. You got to see how that looks. Another containment priest. Not what we're looking for. Well, we have the opponent down to 8. We have the ability to flash in 2 priests. Maybe we can get there? I forgot Siege Rhinos were reprinted into this, considering, you know, this is Khans of Tarkir. We have no other Khans of Tarkir things for the Explorer format. Alright, we'll just start flashing in. But it spends 2 life and gets nothing out of it. Alright, we're down to 5. All 3 containment priests. Amazing. I totally forgot that they reprinted the Siege Rhino. Alright, I'm gonna make another adjustment to the deck. So, yeah, we'll take this out. Folly is actually kind of getting in the way of some of our plays. Oh. Where are you? There you are. Add some Brutal Cathars. So Brutal Cathars are able to get hit by Patch Up. Now it takes the entirety of the Patch Up because its mana cost is 3. So you don't get, like, you know, multiple creatures back scenario, but the Cathar itself will still prove a lot of value in the deck. Let's try it again. Unfortunately, we hit only 1 land, so we'll hit Mulligan. Surprised at how bad I'm drawing on lands. Like, it's almost every game we're having this kind of an issue. Put Shelter on the bottom. Alright, consoles for our opponent will lead with an Initiate. If it's an Authority of Console style deck, that means that our opponent is probably some kind of control deck. Or just life gain. We'll pass. I don't see a reason to put the Self of Savior on the board just to grow their Voice of the Blessed. Alright, Pridemate for the opponent. Pridemate not nearly as scary as Voice of the Blessed here. Alright. We'll attempt the Brutal Cathar, get rid of Voice of the Blessed. Opponent's turn. Our Splendid Angel gives the opponent 1 life, so we don't see the Angel token come out yet. Alright. Aspirant. Resolve. Counter here. Attack with both. I'm trying to just get the initiate trained up here. Opponent gets greedy, trying to get back that creature. Thalia I don't really want. Bring down the dog. Alright. Inspiring Ear unfortunately double pumps that Ajani. So Ajani is very dangerous. I think what we do is we make sure not to play any spell during our turn. And try to get the Brutal Cathar to transform. Okay. Counter here. Attack, attack. Opponent's turn. Now, if the opponent plays 2 spells... Oh, jeez, you have to be hitting me a Heliod? That's a problem. I also should have gotten rid of the authority of the consoles before that came into play. It would have denied them the ETB Lunarch Veteran game. Block here. Yeah, because we end up taking a point of damage there in the air. It's going to really cost us here. And we unfortunately draw another land. How the heck does that happen? I go from no lands to all the lands. I guess I should have kept the Thalia. Trying to think, is there anything else we can do here? Nope. So we send it. Because it doesn't matter. Ah! If I could have gotten a second card play, it doesn't matter what the card was, just play anything. Like, I would have fired off 2 God's Willings, just so I could have transformed and taken away the Ajani. Although I had to take away the flying creature. Ah. Alright. Well, on the open, we don't have any of the 1-drops, but we'll keep this one. Alright, Vanguard and Sungold Sentinel are both really good cards here. Bring out the Vanguard. I'll make it hard for the opponent to necessarily kill it to get the Chevelle trigger. But if it's a deck I think it is, they like to use non-targeted removal. We take the 1 at the attack with that, just because it's better than anything else that we can do. Alright, we'll attack in. Go for the Brutal Cathar. It starts the day-night cycle. And if they do actually kill the Cathar... Alright. I was going to say we can always use Patch Up to bring it back. Alright, Tireless Tracker for our opponent. It's going to be better for us to get Tireless Tracker off the board. Attack here first, before we do anything. There was like a 0% chance of them actually blocking. Now, we still have to be careful. They may just meat hook us here, and we just kind of get blown out if that's the case. Because they'll get their tracker back. We lose all of our creatures to a -X/-X. And they can do it for 2, and they'll be able to keep their Chevelle. And then they'll get their tracker back. Alright, Kalidas for our opponent. I think our best play is to not do anything except for just draw pass. Doing the draw pass forces it to knight. Please pay that 3 life. Alright, I'll go ahead and give that indestructible now. Yeah, one of the problems is with Kalidas on the board, all of our creatures, when they die, go into exile. So, let's see here. We go for the Selfless Savior. Go for the patch-up. Bring back Cathar. No attacks. And that's enough to cause the opponent scoop. There we go. Yeah, no, I should have definitely remembered to put the Cathars in here. I was trying to see if we could do without, but without the Cathars, we don't have enough interaction against our opponent's creatures. I'm going to have to hit Mulligan because it's a one-lander again. And we'll keep this one. I think I'll just put a land on the bottom. Alright, here's the deck I was a little worried about playing against, which is the Coco deck. Angel Life Gain Cocos. But we have the Containment Priest in the open. Oh, is this not what I thought it was? It probably still is. Alright, Selfless Savior to the board. Attack in. Pass it back. Holding up the 2 mana so that way we can maybe flash in a Containment Priest, catch a Speaker of the Heavens here. I didn't think they would do it, but... Alright, we'll just put this on the board. If opponent does a Coco and doesn't realize what the Containment Priest does, all 4 of the better. Alright, sacrifice this, protect here. I didn't want to use the unblockable trigger from this, because that's what I want to kill with Valor Stance. Destroy creature, toughness 4 or greater. Alright. Attack with both of these. Get rid of the Righteous Valkyrie from the graveyard. I don't think they have any recursion, but might as well get rid of it. Alright, Resplendent Angel is an issue if they get enough mana for triggering. But then again, let's see. How much life do they have to gain? They have to gain 5, right? Yeah. So they can't gain the life this turn. Oh my gosh. Can we please stop drawing lands? I need threats. Okay, thank you, opponent. I will take that double block there. We will use patch up. Add both of these back to the board. I'm an idiot. Because I said this. Containment Priest is going to possibly screw us. And it screwed us. Oh, jeez. I'm an idiot. Because I wanted to be able to get those back so I can get rid of the creature from their graveyard. Which, I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised they haven't brought back. Oh, yeah, no, I do remember, like, at the start of this, the thing, I'd say, Containment Priest may just be a punishing effect against ourselves. Now, I'm a little surprised the opponent didn't just activate and attack, because they would have gained the life. They would have... Oh, maybe they're playing around the Valor stance. I mean, we have the Valor stance now. Oh, no, opponent falls for it! We just showed them that, you know, this isn't going to work. Because we made our own mistake. Let's see, what did they lose? They lost a Righteous Valkyrie and a... No, they lost Bishop of Wings and Jada. Or Jada. Alright. Get rid of this. So at least Containment Priest is still winning this for us. Alright, we'll pay the 4. If the opponent resolves another... Oh boy, that's no good. Yep. Containment Priest doesn't stop tokens is the only issue we have with the Containment Priest. Alright, Giant Killer is a great draw for us. We go for the Ajani. I like the fact that you sacrifice the Innkeeper there. So opponent unfortunately just probably does the plus here. Opponent, can you not learn? We still have Containment Priest. Okay. Shijiri Shelter, protection from white. Attack. Opponent's turn. Let's see, what did they give up on? Another Bishop and a Righteous Valkyrie. Alright, they get Veto. Alright, we have to take 3. I'm going to have to just put this on the board. That requires double black to use. They only have a single black. Pass it back. Stop at the lands. 8s. Oh my gosh. Alright. They hit the Righteous Valkyrie. That's Righteous Valkyrie number 3 for them, right? All right, we have officially gotten more lands than non-land cards here. All right, we'll tap this. Pro White. Activate. It's going to hurt, but now we no longer have to deal with that 3/3 token. And now we're halfway through our lands, and we're not even halfway. We're not even. We're only a third of the way through our deck. Ah! Unfortunately, that gives the opponent actually lethal here. The question is, do they notice it? Okay, they do. I feel like, yes, we made a punted mistake, but the thing is, they never could get rid of our Containment Priest. So we just kind of were sitting on a dead card in our hand anyways. But I feel bad that we lost to that, because they fired 2 Cocos into the exact same Containment Priest on the board. We just couldn't do anything but draw lands. We are a 20 basic land deck. Ah, that's it. I need to make one other adjustment to this deck. Actually, I'm curious. Do we have access to... We do have access to Faceless Haven, in which case all of this is becoming snow mana. Faceless Haven gives us a land that can attack, and it's one of the best ones that we can ask for. The only problem is it does come into play. It does require triple snow to activate. Well, that's not really the issue. The issue is that it taps for colorless mana. So hopefully we don't get locked out. Wait, invalid deck. Oh, I missed one land. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see here. All right, this seems like a pretty keepable hand. We'll go with it. We're against Spirits. All right. Hopefully we can get this Vanguard to the board. If we can get Vanguard to resolve... actually, is it better for Vanguard resolving or Aspirant? I think Aspirant's the one that's better. It's more likely to spin out of control. Let's see. Opponents wanting to save their mana for something. Let's attack. Let's go for Vanguard. Fortunately, we missed a land drop. And we could get really punished because of our opponent just running a lot of these pay extra counter spells. And they can always sacrifice this at any time to counter our non-creature spells based off of the Wanderer's power. Yep. Counter here. Go for an attack. Attempt number 2. Alright, it resolves. We are actually threatening, let's see, up to 8 damage. Opponent is threatening 2, 4, so 6, because they can turn this into a 4/4. Block, block. Just forcing them to do the level up there prevents the most damage coming to our face. Unfortunately, we cannot get anything to really interact against this opponent. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're representing 9. Which means that if I don't... No, I can actually prevent that. Because they'll have to sacrifice the Wanderer. There it is, finally the land. Way too late. And go for a Selfless Savior. So, Selfless Savior gives us a block against one of the 2 on the floor. Block. Okay, so they flash that in. They get extra pump on that Wanderer. Attempt combat. Unfortunately, they have just 2 blockers here. Another Rattle Chains comes down. That feels fun. So, yep, they get us because we got stuck on 2 lands. The opening 2 lands we started with. Until literally the turn we die. We'll just show them it's like we had cards to play, but we just could not play them. But oh, by the way, if you're wondering, why I might seem like I'm dead, it's because these are actually 1/1s, but if they all they have to do is spend 3, turn this into a 4/4 flyer. So we just take over 5 damage in the air. Alright. Probably the last match for this deck. It unfortunately has just been a bit of a dumpster fire. Oh, I just realized my music stopped again. Alright, Mulligan. Finally get to keep a hand with land. One of the shelters to the bottom. Alright, going for Sentinel. Opponent is blue-black, so I'm not sure how many colors that this person's running with their Yarion. Now, usually when you see a Yarion deck, if it's got blue and black, it still has the white. But not always. But it's really taking their time reading the Sentinel. Could be they're not very familiar with it, since while this is in the standard format, it hasn't been seeing a whole lot of love lately. Ah, okay. So they're probably just making sure that they could target with the portable hole. Let's go for Vanguard. And we'll hold up the God's Willing here. Alright, buys back Yarion. Let's go for Thalia. And Selfless Savior. To be honest, that wasn't our best play, because we leave ourselves open to a Swamp, Meat Hook 1, and blows us completely out. Alright, no play from our opponent. We'll just send the damage. And pass it back. We'll hold up all of our protection spells. I don't commit more to the board because, like I said, if they go for a sweeper, that's a minus ability. I don't want to just give them more fuel. We're going to want something to maybe reposition to the board. Faith's Fetters will fizzle and not give them the 4 life because of the protection here. Okay, we bring the opponent really low. We're representing lethal on board, so I don't see a reason to bring Sentinel to the board. We can sacrifice Savior, give this indestructible. Vanguard, we can pay 4 life, give it indestructible. And God's Willing gives us protection from targeted removal. So, yep, there it goes. I mean, I guess that's probably our cleanest match we've had, just because we played against Control and had all the protection. I guess we'll do one last game with it. We kept making tweaks to the deck, and I kind of want to see if any of the tweaks are really helping. Because with our latest version of the deck, we've only played 2 matches. Alright, we'll keep this. We got turn 1 Initiate, turn 2 Aspirant. Seems amazing. Alright, Llanowar Elf for our opponent. Oh, by the way, we go for the counter on the Aspirant just to make sure that the Hopeful Initiate will be able to grow. for when we attack with it. Alright, play this for land for the turn. Counter here and pass. I'm doing this just in case our opponent just goes land and immediately drops Coco, because it allows us to use Containment Priest. If they don't do that and use a fight spell, I want the God's Willing. Alright. So, opponent attacked in. Left up mana, it looks like Coco mana, so we're going to attack into it. Yeah, and Containment Priest. So, any card they choose goes straight to exile. But it has to read Containment Priest. It's like, what the heck is this? Yep, and that's enough to get them to scoop. Oh, man. That feels good. Catching an opponent with a Containment Priest like that, that feels real good. All right. Guys, let's see how many people actually have played against a Containment Priest and got blown out by it. All right. I mean, I'm actually feeling better about the deck, knowing that we actually do have outs now with our adjustments. All right, we'll try this one again. Don't have the turn 1 play, but we have... Ooh, not good. Alright, well, opponent attacks immediately with Firebrand, which allows us to do this, but if it's mono red, it's got burn. It's going to deal with the Aspirant. Burning Tree to Burning Tree to Robber of the Rich. That's cool. And they get a Thalia. We hit no land. Alright. They let us go to resolving triggers for some reason. I honestly was thinking, it's like, there's no reason I should really be playing this. They're just going to kill it right away, but I wanted to get it to the board just in case the opponent didn't have the ability to go for an Embercleave right away. Alright, land. This only hits toughness. That's awkward. Alright. Pass it back to the opponent. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, block here. Get rid of Robber the Rich, so that way they can no longer play our cards. I don't use any of our spells because I know I have to do this pro-white. I need land. Alright, fun time. We exile our Brutal Cathar with our Brutal Cathar. Counter here, pass it back. They have Embercleave, we lose. They don't have Embercleave. We block here, block here. Yeah, no, that's... Oh no, that's Castle Embereth. Alright. I thought we were done. Let's get rid of the token. Oh, well done, opponent. Well done. I thought we were possibly going to turn the corner there, but my deck just hates giving me land. Like, we get ourselves... We're all 1 and 2 drops, with the exception of 2 spells that are costing 3. So we don't want to oversaturate our deck with land. So I'm using 20 lands, and then 4 of them are the spell lands. And I still can't draw the lands as if I was like running a general 24 land deck. Alright. We'll keep this one. It's probably our best hand we've seen for the night. Because we can go land initiates to the aspirants. Potentially have Shijiri Shelter and God's Willing as protection, Valor Stance protection and destruction. Still be great if we can get another land off the top. If we don't hit another land, I think we just go Shelter for our land for the turn. So that way when we go for the aspirant, we can have God's Willing to protect. So either that, we just maintain the greed since we were on the play. We're on the play against black, and they Thoughtseize. Of course you Thoughtseize. Ah! Alright. Opponent's turn. It's amazing how one Thoughtseize just completely ruins a hand. Alright, opponent. You're a Greasefang deck, aren't you? You are. Yep, there's Greasefang. Let's go for patch up. Bring back the aspirant. Counter on the aspirant itself. That way they can't use Witherbloom Command to kill it. Alright, put it in mulches. Our turn, our plan is to go Thalia, start taxing their spells, and attacking in and getting some pain on them. Now, the opponent's milled 2 Greasefangs, but they haven't... Okay, as I say, they hadn't hit a vehicle yet. Alright, Thalia to the board denies them the recursive, the ability to play the recursive spell from their graveyard. But we have Valor Stance to interrupt the combo. So even if they play for it with that copy... So, opponent's just not going to like what we're going to do. So they're going to pull it out. We'll give them the GGs because they're going to crew it. And we're going to use Valor Stance and destroy it. And yeah. Fun game, opponent. Yes, we have 8 damage here. All right. It feels good to slap down a Greasefang. Like, they did a combo, it was turn 5. It wasn't very fast, but it was still... It still was Greasefang combo, and we managed to beat it. Okay. Do I keep this considering how we draw lands? I think I'm going to keep it. Because we have Shelter, we have the land, so we can go for all the 2-drops. All right. So, life gain Coco. If they... Oh, no. All right, we have to draw lands. All right, we get our lands. Go for the Aspirant first, because it's the card that just straight spins out of control by itself. Alright, Innkeeper for our opponent. And Speaker of the Heavens. Alright, move to combat. Attack in. Let's see. Pass it back to the opponent. Alright, they go for Innkeeper. Innkeeper gains them a life. Brings them 25. 26, 27, and yeah. So when they go to make the token from Speaker of the Heavens, we have to kill it. And now we're going to have to use Brutal Cathar, get rid of Speaker of the Heavens. Before we do that, let's attack in. Okay. So Brutal Cathar, take you away. Giant Killer. Thing is, we didn't even really have a chance to put the priest on the board. So if they have a Coco, okay, they didn't ever hit a Coco, so we don't get punished. Brutal Cathar. Take away Jida. Counter here. Attack with these. And they're relying on Coco off the top. Containment Priest stops it. So, let's see. What's the opponent have? If it's a Righteous Valkyrie, it's going to be bad because it gives them... they get the 2 life. They get all the pump. But we can use Giant Killer to tap it down to prevent it from attacking in, and then we can just, you know, do a no cast on our turn. And if we can draw a 1-drop or a draw a land, we can do double spell, turn it back to day, and exile it off the board. So I think we're good with just that, if that's the case. But it could be also now Assault Scoop. Let's see here. Just offer them a hello just to check on them and see if they're there. Fortunately, I don't have like too many of these emotes that don't feel like they're, you know, rude to maybe do it if they're thinking things over, but... Alright, so opponent lets us get a day shift here. Now, there is always a possibility that they could have had Wandering Emperor in hand, but the deck doesn't usually use that. If they go for Wandering Emperor, we actually can flash in Containment Priest if they do the minus to get rid of one of our brutes. And that will still deny them getting their creature back because of how Containment Priest is worded. Because it would be a creature entering the battlefield and wasn't cast. Alright. Punch in a fair bit of damage there. Opponent's turn. Alright, now this is clearly a person who's salt scooped. In which case, I get to start BMing. Just having a little party over here with our emotes. Alrighty. Well, we get it. It's nice to see that we take down the Angel Coco deck so well. Because, what is that, 2 now in a row that we beat Coco Angels? Alright, we'll turn this to the last match of this deck. Okay. I like a lot of things we're looking at here, so we'll keep this. Because we can go Initiate 1, Vanguard 2. And Vanguard by itself will be able to train this twice at least. So Aspirant turn 3 isn't bad. Like, Hopeful Initiate is just probably like one of the strongest 1-drops mono white has nowadays. I just say one of because it really depends on what kind of deck you're playing, as our opponent is going to show us how well the white-red heroic deck is. Alseed, okay. So they can sacrifice that for 1, give a creature protection of a color. Alright, we'll go for the Aspirant. And bam! There they go. They're already done. Wow! That was quick. Because, let's see, we put counter here, attack. That's a 2-3. That's a 4-2, and we're already off to the races really fast. Now, this could have been a case that if they had to play not us, we would have been a lot more trouble. Because Brocathar coming down doesn't get rid of anything necessarily because they have the protection spell, and if they are the deck I think they are, they could have an answer for Cathar. Fing Blade Brigand. +1/+0 gains double strike until end of turn. No, first strike, not double strike, first strike. Yeah, this is actually a pretty decent uncommon for a card in general. Now, I don't think this is good enough to play in like standard or anything, but I think that if you're just going to play in a draft, that's actually not that bad. Oh, I said the last one's going to be the last one. I guess we'll do one more. Considering, you know, the last one lasted a whole of like 3 minutes. I mean, it barely lasted 3 turns, is what I should say. Alright, we're missing our 1-drop, but I do like the cards we're looking at. I think we'll still lead with Shelter for land 1. Let's see, opponent's actually on the play, so we may actually, if we top deck a 1-drop that we can play, go land 1-drop. Alright. Shelter it is. Alright, white-green unfortunately means that we might be against Coco Angels, and this time we do not have our Containment Priest. But we do have Giant Killer that we just drew. Oh, no, never mind, it's Greasefang. Wait, no, it's not Grease. What is this? What is this 5-color pile? Alright, we'll go for the Aspirant. Counter here. Hold up God's Willing. Champion of Wits. Okay, so they're definitely heavy on the draw discard plan. Like, something's going into their graveyard that they want in there. What is it? Oh, okay, so it's Combat Celebrant, Godfarer's Gift deck. Okay. Trying to think, what can I do? Alright, Brutal Cathar. Get rid of Champion of Wits. Another counter. We have the opponent dead next turn, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, we're going to be 1 point short. Our opponent doesn't play any spells, then we have lethal, but they have the ability to at least play this, gain themselves 2 life. So there's no reason for them to not be able to play anything. I haven't seen a Godfarer's deck in a while, so at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a copy of it. That's a 4/4 black zombie, gains haste. They use cards like Champions of Wits because it's just an amazing card to reanimate. Because you draw cards equal to its power, then you discard 2 cards. So it's effectively a draw 2, discard 2, but when it comes back as a 4/4, it's draw 4, discard 2. They use Combat Celebrant because it allows them to take extra combats. So it means extra triggers of the Godfarer's Gift, and the Exert gives you the ability to also untap your other creatures. So they actually try to go off all in one turn to kill a player. At this point, though, we don't have anything really to likely fear from our opponent. The only thing I'm afraid of will be a... what do you call it? Settle the Wreckage. That's the only card that blows us out here. Okay. Yep, you got your Godfarer's Gift. You try to go for your Combat Celebrant, but I'm just going to hit it with a Giant Killing. Oh. You weren't what I was expecting. Well, you're very dead. Okay. Good game. So the opponent was trying to gain themselves 6 life by attacking us. Oh, and I misclicked there. Oh well. But I was gonna say, I don't even think that was enough to give themselves life back to survive. Oh well. Alright, so this was patched up aggro if you're just joining us, and the deck actually underwent a lot of changes. So with patched up aggro here, we ended up changing a lot from what we started with. We ended up having to bring in Brutal Cathars because we had to have some more interaction against our opponent other than Valor Stance. And we also went with these Snowlands, bring in Faceless Havens. Now, we never actually did see the Faceless Havens put in work once when we did this, but it was just in case we went to some games where we get ourselves board wiped, we have a ton of lands, but we didn't have any actual creature lands in our deck, and I went with this plan instead of the Dragon land. Now, we did actually oops ourselves one time with Containment Priest with Patch Up, but the Patch Up combo with all these 1-drops and the 2-drops that we have, I still think it's pretty good. Now, as long as we don't accidentally lock ourselves out of our own card, we do well, but I still wanted the Containment Priest in the deck because it put in so much work. We ended up going up against Collected Company at least 4 or 5 times, and we managed to get Containment Priest on the board during 3 of them, and it completely shut down the deck. There's only one time it didn't shut down the deck, and that's just because we ended up just flooding. We drew 10 lands and couldn't get anything to the board because of that. As an aggro deck, drawing 10 lands within the top 20, you usually don't win. In which case, I did like a lot of the cards, and it was nice seeing it go to work, but we managed to actually take down, after the adjustments, we managed to take down Black, White, Green, Griefing. We took down the Angels Collected Company deck on more than one occasion. We beat Mono Green Collected Company. So the deck does work, but it definitely had some stumbling issues, unfortunately, because of it just didn't like giving me lands. I understand. We're playing 20 lands total with 3 Shijiri Shelters, 23 lands in general. But if you think about the fact that our mana curve is all 2-drops with a lot of 1-drops and only a total of 6 3-drops, we don't want to draw too many lands. In which case, I hope you enjoyed the deck. Let's see. To wrap up the stream, I guess we'll open up our free Kamigawa Neon Dynasty pack that we got. This is a free mythic here. And what rare do we get? Alright, Invoke Justice. That's a great card. And I think it's a fun card to try to build around. And I'll try to get a deck around this soon. Izzy, if you are still in the chat, I will get to work on trying to build the deck that you challenged me with. Now, I know you challenged me with Halar, and let's see. So for those of you not familiar with this, just show you what card this is going to be. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Oh wait, no, it's different format. That's the issue. All right. No, still not spelled right. Why is it not coming up? Oh, it's because I don't have any crafted. There we go. So, Halar the Fire Fletcher is the challenge card. We'll try to have a deck for this build next time on stream. Now, I don't think that this one's going to be that amazing of a deck until after Dominaria comes out. The reason why I say that is when Dominaria comes out, we're going to get new kicker cards. And so basically we're going to get more support for the Fire Fletcher. And I think with the type of cards that are going to be coming out, Fire Fletcher actually might be able to be built for the Explore format. Now, I don't think it's going to compete at all in Historic, because Historic is, if you're not doing Stupid Broken, you have to be super fast aggro. And this is kind of a slow combo engine, so I don't think it'll work there. But Halar, Fire Fletcher, 3 mana, 3/3 trample. Whenever we cast a spell, if it was kicked, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on Fire Fletcher. Then it deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it to each opponent. Now, I can think of a couple ways that we can make this work. Unfortunately, one of the ways I think we make it work is we're kind of a mediocre, fight rigging deck. But at the same time, I'm going to be interested to try it out and see if we can get it to work. In any case, I'll get to work on crafting that, and I wish you all have a nice night. I'm not going to be crafting on stream because I know I'm going to have to do a lot of research to figure out what kind of cards might work with this, and I don't think anyone's going to want to sit around for that. Well, in any case, wish you all have a nice night, and we'll see you next time. Today is Thursday. Our next time we'll be available will be on Sunday, and we start stream at 1 o'clock. Hopefully I'll see you then. And on Monday we will be doing, more than likely, a Brawl, just going over Brawl decks, because of the historic Brawl tournament that we usually take part in. Wish you all have a nice night, and see you next time.